Hi, this is Amy
and Melissa. We are a couple of retired Texas teachers who are CALTs, Certified Academic Language Therapists. We started our own businesses, and now we have a podcast called The Dyslexia Duo.
So join us for our informative podcast, where we'll delve into dyslexia, covering the topics that affect parents, therapists, teachers, practitioners, and anyone who wants to learn more. We'll guide you through everything you need to know, from the first signs to the intricacies of dyslexia curriculum placement and beyond.
This season, we will cover the referral process, what to expect when your child or student is dyslexic, the generational impacts of dyslexia, and how to support those affected.
Come join us. Welcome back to part 2 of the Dyslexia Duo podcast and to our interview with the Christ family, a family that has multi-generational dyslexia.
Can you think of an instance where dyslexia impacted you outside of school?
Probably whenever I read books outside of school, because I can't really remember what I read when I read a lot, I used to, and I would just lose where I was.
And then how do you feel after that?
I didn't want me to read. I didn't want to read anymore because I felt like it was too hard.
Yeah, a little frustrated.
Yeah, because you're doing double duty with that. You read it, and then you get to the end and you go, what did I just read? And then you feel like you have to go back and reread it again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally get that. Caitlin, you're up. Where do you feel like dyslexia impacts you outside of education?
Actually, my work. So I handle injury claims, and I get a lot of medical records, and I have to go through a lot of paragraphs. And, so when I'm reading those, I have to take a lot of notes, and I will read a whole paragraph. And like you said, I'll have no understanding of what I just read, and I have to go back and reread it. And sometimes I could get a whole pack of 300 pages that I have to go through. And my supervisor is like, why is it taking so long? And I'm like, because it's so much to read. And I don't tell him I have to go back and reread it. But if I don't take my notes or really focus on what I'm reading, that going through those pages could take me hours. People are very fast paced when they want their car fixed or they want things quickly. And so they'll say numbers really fast, and my brain doesn't process what they're saying quick enough. So I'm like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? And I'll be like, can you slow down? Or I really have to listen and concentrate what they're saying so I can try to type it out quickly and not miss it. But I would say definitely work. And I work from home, so I have to have my headphones on and be paying attention.
Does your employer know that you're dyslexic?
No.
Oh, because I'm wondering if accommodations would help in the workplace.
Yeah, and that's what I have had a couple things come up, and I've talked to my supervisor about it. I'm not very good at asking for help or, letting them know I'm struggling, because I like to try to think I can do it all, or I like to think I got it. But I had a supervisor that told me, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not be able to do everything because you have other things going on. I have a family. I have, my kids have sports, my kids have school. And so she's you're putting so much on yourself that there are people that can help you. And so I've gotten better at telling my supervisor, hey, I need some help with this. And right away he'll find someone okay, so-and-so, can you help Caitlin, knock these couple things out? And that's something I need to work on, is asking for help and saying, hey, I can't do it. And knowing that it's okay.
That's sometimes a big pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah, because I feel soccer has helped me, but I also feel like it's made me very I don't want to say hard on myself, but competitive for myself. And so I can do it, I got it. And then I'll overwhelm myself and think, okay, I can't do it. I don't got it. I need help. And then I feel like I failed. But I'm learning I didn't fail. It's just nobody at all can handle however much pressure I'm putting on myself. It's not something I really tell people or talk to people about it. So now that I get a lot of good feedback and I get a lot of help from people. And I'm like, wow, this would have been great if I would have said something a lot sooner when I was younger and maybe had help then. And, but I'm learning. I have learned a lot and I feel like I've matured a lot. So I'm finally understanding and getting help.
I think that's where the advocacy part comes in. I think it's so important that people listen to podcasts like this and are involved in education, involved in each other's lives, and really talk to other parents and other students and really learn to advocate for each other, because advocacy is the only way things can get better for everybody. And so people don't have to feel like you feel at work sometimes, and putting all that pressure on yourself. I feel the same. I put a lot of pressure on myself too. And I know I have my own weaknesses. I don't have dyslexia, but I have my own weaknesses. And I know that I put a lot of pressure on myself, and sometimes it becomes too great.
Carolyn, what about you? Can you think of an instance where dyslexia impacted you outside of your education? I think you were telling me something at work.
Yes. At work, I work with budgets and budget codes. And I notice if I'm trying to hurry, or I don't slow down, I'll put in a wrong budget code. Well, I had one of the accountants call me, said, "Hey, you put the wrong code. It should have been this," which is very similar to the code I put in. I said, "Oh shoot, with my dyslexia, I read the number wrong." And he kind of laughed. I said, "No, I'm serious. I am dyslexic." He goes, "You are?" I said, "Well, I found out I'm dyslexic." And I said, "Sometimes I go fast. I need to slow down and pay attention, like the mistake I made today." And I said, the way some of these budget codes y'all have are so similar, for someone that's dyslexic, it makes it very hard to catch the budget code, put in the right numbers, the number order. And he just kind of went, I don't think anyone ever thought of that. And I'm like, well, so I've learned now to slow down and pay more attention. And there's times where I'll have to quadruple check is the number in the right order of what I actually need. And I think that's the biggest thing I have trouble with, is the numbers just kind of running together, or not flipping necessarily, but like
the
looking
order
so similar that I enter the wrong one. And I've gotten better about it, but like I said, by slowing down and just having to quadruple check my work to make sure I'm not entering something incorrectly.
I think everything that y'all have been saying are great examples. And I love that we've got 3 generations here, and everybody's kind of experienced something different, because I think our audience is going to say, yeah, I did that when I was younger. Or if it's an older person, yeah, I did that when I was younger. I did that when I was in my 20s, my 30s. I did that. I'm doing that now. I'm not going to give away ages.
I would be intrigued to know too, if after the intervention is delivered, like Leah has gone through and gotten the intervention, I'd be interested to know if she experiences the same difficulties in her job as she grows older, as her mom and her grandmother have experienced or are experiencing right now. It's kind of a thought.
So, Leah, we'll come back in 10 years to you.
We'll be really old.
One of us will be really old.
What advice would you give to other dyslexic children?
I would say if you practice more, you'll get better at it. Like once you practice more, it would be better.
Okay.
And I love that. That's a lesson that I actually taught, or I still teach when I'm working with students. We do something called a talent scale, and we talk about things we're good at and how did you get good at playing soccer, music, or whatever. We had to practice. Well, just like reading and writing is also a talent that you have to develop and you have to practice it. So I love that answer. It's like you just played right into my hand.
Yes,
Leah.
good job, Leah. That was a great answer. Okay, and then what advice would you give, Caitlin, to other dyslexic young adults?
Mine would be, I kind of touched on, don't be afraid to ask for help, or, and don't be afraid to let somebody know you don't understand something, because holding it in does not help at all. So, people are understanding, and, getting help early will help in the long run, and, be easier for you instead of waiting and then realizing when you're in your 30s that you need help. Then it's easier to do it when you're younger and get it then.
Yeah.
Yes. And then what about you, Carolyn? What advice would you give other dyslexic adults regarding dyslexia?
I think a lot of times these days we're trying to rush. Slow down. Just slow your mind down, slow everything down. And you don't everyone's under pressure. Everyone's in, this has to be done by this and this and this. And we just all kind of need to slow things down and, pay more attention. And as far as advice I would want to give as a parent, the number one thing is to advocate for your child. If you feel there's something going on, you've got to find the answers for your child. And I feel bad that my kids struggled, and I couldn't, I felt like I couldn't help them. I did what we could do, I knew to do, but you have to advocate for your child and find something that is going to work for your child. If it's within your district or outside your district, go, for, outside resources. Now there's so many outside resources, and also educate yourself on services that are provided by your school, by your district, that the laws, because the laws constantly change in your state, that help your student with services that, some parents didn't know that were there. You don't know what services that your district it should be providing for your child. I think parents definitely need to educate themselves on what's out there for their child and know the laws for sure.
That's a great response from all of you. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hi, this is Melissa with Kids First Dyslexia Services. I am excited to share with you my private practice. Kids First Dyslexia Services is a private practice that specializes in dyslexia therapy. Each one-on-one session focuses on instruction specific to your child's needs in a nurturing environment that develops self-esteem, builds confidence, and fosters a sense of accomplishment, resulting in happier kids with higher levels of achievement. We provide a professional, personalized experience, always putting the child first. We value the relationships with both our students and parents, because strengthening skills and overcoming hurdles to achieve desired goals and success is a team effort. For more information, please visit kidsfirstdyslexia.com. That is kidsfirstdyslexia.com.
Hi there. This is Amy Rodenroth, owner of Discovery Dyslexia Services. So tell me if any of these situations are familiar to you. Your dyslexia teacher / therapist has suddenly retired unexpectedly, and you do not have the personnel to fill the space, or you do not have enough trained teachers or therapists for the number of students who have qualified for dyslexia services, and you need a trained teacher or therapist quickly, like yesterday, quickly. Or you need a teacher to provide compensatory services, and you do not have anyone that can provide what's needed. Well, what do you do? I'm going to tell you what you can do. You can call Discovery Dyslexia Services. Discovery Dyslexia Services can help you with your various dyslexia concerns. We have multiple CALTs who can provide virtual small group therapy. We can also train your teachers in most dyslexia curricula, either virtually or on site. Just let us know how we can help support you. For more information, go to our website at www.discovereed.com. Let me spell that for you. DYSCOVEREAD.com. And I know it's a funny name, but we're providing huge services for our dyslexic population. So keep in mind, Discovery Dyslexia Services, covering all your dyslexia needs. Let's return to the show. So I'm going to direct this just to Leah. But what do you want to do when you're older?
I want to be a hairstylist or like do real estate, but I'm still deciding because they're really different. But
those are both great career choices. Huh?
She switched a few times. She wanted to be a veterinarian. She's gone through a couple. Now she's stuck on hair school.
Okay. I know where that influence is coming from.
How old are you, Leah?
I'm going to be 14 in December.
Wow. Well, that's great. You've got a good goal. You're not that far off from being done with school either. Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
She's gone night and day from learning to read and write. Her handwriting was rough and the spelling, and she has done so amazing. And she's actually in honors reading now.
Oh my gosh. Leah,
Really,
that's awesome.
yes.
Wonderful.
Brag, but
And
I'm
she's
gonna
looking at
brag.
you like, come on.
Yeah, no, but she's killing. I was like, "You're doing honors reading," and she's like, "Man, she's killing it." She got all A's. She had one B because she's in honor math. Math is hard. So
Math is hard.
but she's doing so well, and I love personally that the program, that the Take Flight program that her school offered, and it helped her so much. Sorry,
Leah, you are killing it at
Yay.
school. Holy cow.
Yes.
You're a rock
No, I was
star.
if Caitlin didn't say that, I was about to tell that how great she's doing in school, and just like she said, night and day
Yes.
from after doing the Take Flight program.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So, a lot of people will say when you're diagnosed with dyslexia, oh, it's a gift. It's a wonderful thing. You're going to grow up to be rich and famous. Everybody's going to know you and your life will be wonderful. But here's my question. Now that you've gone through this, or now that you have experienced it, you have your education that you've had to go through, you have had your life's experience thus far. If you could wave a magic wand and go back and choose to not have dyslexia, would you?
No, I feel like the program brought me closer to a lot of people and helped me make friends because we had things in common like dyslexia. So I wouldn't.
That's a great
That's
answer.
wonderful.
I love that. All right.
Thank you.
Caitlin, we're going to hit Carolyn in a minute, but we'll start with Caitlin now.
I would not, because even though I struggled, I feel like it did help me in the long run. I feel like my mom said, it helps me slow down and take my time and actually, pay attention. And recently, I've started reading books, and I wasn't much of a reader because I didn't understand what I was reading. But I've actually finished a couple books, and I'm proud of myself.
Yay.
What did you
it's
read? What books did you read?
It was really good. It's a series. Dang. The one I'm on now is The Fear. I can't think of the first one I read, but I finished it, and
Bring me that book tonight, would you?
it's
So I can borrow it.
it sucks you in. But now I love reading. I want to read the whole series, and So I wouldn't though. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot about myself and getting more comfortable with myself because of dyslexia. And I couldn't imagine how it would be not having it. Maybe a little easier. I don't know, but I like the challenge. So I wouldn't change it.
I think that's a great answer. All right, Carolyn, you're up.
Okay. Well, for me, yes, I would have wanted to change it, but I say yes and no. Yes, because yes, I wouldn't have to struggle, have the low self-confidence that I had, low self-esteem. But I would say no, because it did teach me to work harder and not give up. And, just it taught me to work harder to get what I wanted or get where I needed to be. And I think I have a very strong work ethic. And it taught me, I think it taught me too, to be more empathetic with working with kids. And everyone learns different. I've learned that firsthand, that not everyone learns the same way. Everyone learns at different paces, and you got to make it, because I taught pre-K for years and years, and you got to make it fun for all kids and make it to where everyone enjoys it and just wants to learn more. And I think if I didn't have it, I wouldn't have learned those things.
Yeah. No, I think that's a perfect. And honestly, growing up, I didn't know. You had all these emotional things going on in your head about how you felt about yourself. But here I am, probably not your best friend because your husband's your best friend, but your second best friend in the world. I never noticed that you felt like that about your education.
Right. It's you just keep it internal, and you just, you just live with that low self-esteem, low self-confidence, which I didn't want that to happen to my kids, or especially with my granddaughter, with all that we know now. And when I saw how she struggled and just with her low self-esteem, and that she thought she wasn't smart, and I knew she was. And so Caitlin and I would talk about it all the time. I say, Caitlin, you push, work with your campus, work with your school, don't be a foe, but, tell them, look, I know she's struggling. I don't know what to do. Please help me figure out what's going on. I want to support you to be able to support her. And you have to not fight with your school, but be a support and advocate for your child, but also work with your campus as well.
That's why I love their school now, because they come to me and they say, this is what we see, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, this, and this. But with her first district, it was like, yeah, we'll test her. Never heard nothing. The next school year, oh yeah, we're going to test her. Never heard anything. And then we switched, and it was almost within a week she was there. They said, there's something going on. We're testing her. She's dyslexic. This is what we're doing. And they filled me in. They gave me all the information. And I'm looking around like, wow, that was fast. And she got the help she needed like immediately.
I think too, it kind of varied from district to district, funding. And I think the big thing too, I'm seeing, because of Melissa and Amy, the training teachers and campuses are receiving to know what to look for. And they're seeing, oh, there's more going on. And the funding is there more often, maybe not between district and district, but I think the training, definitely the training that teachers are receiving to know what to look for and what they need to do.
I think training is a big part of it. And I think too, parents becoming aware by doing things like this, by participating in school board elections and participating in school board, whatever they called?
Oh, no.
school board meetings. And by learning about dyslexia, I mean, parents are getting wise to what is going on. And because they are educating themselves, they are able to go and advocate a lot better. And it's not that people in our generation didn't want to advocate for our kids. We just didn't know all of this information. And that's the World Wide Web has kind of opened that up for us. We're able to research a lot more and have a lot more contacts across the globe. So that really has helped us all learn a lot better. And just getting that information out there has made such a huge difference.
Right. We didn't have podcasts. And,
we didn't.
Things like that. We didn't have it.
I know our guest that we worked with the other day, Dr. Kelly Saman Hurley, her advice to parents, when you suspect dyslexia, don't just tell a teacher, don't just tell a counselor, put it in writing and stay on it until it happens.
Yes.
She says, be that parent.
Be that parent. Be the mama bear.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because nobody else will do it but you.
Well, I think that's all we have for today, unless you have any parting shots. No, just kidding. Any words that you want to leave us with?
I think it's great that y'all are doing, and I hope y'all's podcast takes off, because I think there's so many parents that need to feel supported and feel that, you know what, I'm not crazy. I know there's something going on with my child. I don't know what it is, but you know, you're not alone. That's the main thing. You're not alone at all.
Well, we appreciate Carolyn, Caitlin, and Leah coming on our podcast today. So this is Amy
And Melissa.
and the Dyslexia Duo. We'll see you next time.
Next time. Thank you.
The Dyslexia Duo podcast hosts are Amy Rodenroth.
Melissa Dean.
Our producer is Greg Rodenroth.
You can find us on Facebook at the Dyslexia Duo.
Email us any questions or comments at thedyslexiaduo@gmail.com.
Awareness is so important. Share this podcast with your friends
Family,
and teachers.
thanks for joining us.
Bye.